It's due.
Hello, everybody. I am Sun Psychic Jean, and look who I have with me here today, Shari
Hi,
from
y'all.
Voices from the Swamp. Hi, Shari. You look especially beautiful today. I love your
Thank
new
you, man.
hairdo. It's very
Yeah, I went curly today.
summer-like. Mm-hmm.
When I got
It's
it cut last week, I had them cut bangs, and then I remembered why I didn't have bangs because they're annoying. So when I washed my hair this morning, it was kind of not wanting to do right. So I had to bust out the curling iron and kind of touch up the ends and make it curly again. And
well, you have one of
so,
those faces that you can wear almost any style, and it looks great on you.
oh,
Um,
thank you.
yeah,
I can say
absolutely.
the
So,
same for you. I mean, uh,
thank you.
I think
I
you're beautiful. So,
Thank you. I used to have like not a pixie cut, but like a very short on the sides and the back with like more volume in on the top. You know, the '80s look. Maybe Pat Benatar or somebody.
I was
But
just getting ready to say like Pat Benatar or who was the skater that had that kind
Dorothy
of hair?
Hamill. Mm-hmm.
Dorothy Hamill. That was it. Everybody wanted the Hamill cut. I
Yeah, mine
remember
was a
that.
little more punk, a little more standing up. Couldn't get it high enough.
Mine was too curly. It wouldn't do it. The one time I went and have it cut that way and it did this. So it was like, okay, that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
Mm-hmm.
before flat irons. So there was no way to straighten your hair.
I
And
know. Remember that? It's crazy. So, today, everybody, we're going to be doing readings for you. We're going to do a little chat and allow some more people to come in. And while we're waiting, I just wanted to let you know we're going to be reading. You can ask for a spirit guide message from your angels, ancestors, a message from fairies. And we just ask that you kindly put your questions in caps and use emojis so that they're easier to find, and the questions are chosen at random. So we just want to thank everybody for being here. And I want to thank Jen Bowles for becoming a new member. Thank you very much. And I
hey,
love your icon there. Look at that.
isn't
The
that a
green
great picture?
trees. Mm-hmm.
I could
Mm-hmm.
so hang out there.
And Donna Marie also became a new member today. Thank you very much, Donna Marie.
Yay.
And I am grateful, and I had a members meeting earlier, or members live chat earlier today at 11 a.m., and it went very well. But I forgot to put members only. There's a couple of spots you have to put members
I've
only,
done that a few times.
so the first 5 minutes you see me panicking. I don't know. I don't think anybody can see it but the members. But I'm going to go back and maybe edit that out because I was like, wait a minute. What
It
is
doesn't look right.
Yeah.
When did you become a
Yeah.
member? I don't remember you being a member.
Yeah.
But I get that a lot now. I'll log on at like Saturday night for the slumber party and there'll be a handful of new names in there. I'll be like, oh, I've never seen that name before. Welcome. And
Yeah.
so that's always fun when new people find us. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Shari, if anybody is not familiar with Shari's channel, please do go over and check her out. She has a beautiful, wonderful variety. Variety. She has
yep.
so many different collaborations, so much, so different focuses, and really great information coming through. And it's Voices, Shari, Voices from the Swamp. And please do go on over. I have her contact information in the show notes below.
Yeah,
And
I just
we
went over
do.
7,000 subscribers. So I'm excited.
Wow. That's
10, my
wonderful.
goal is 10 by the end of summer. So
There you
fingers
go.
crossed. And but
I,
yeah, it's
I think you're
it's
hanging
been
out with
fun.
good company there and it helps you out for sure. I think that's wonderful and congratulations. And you're couldn't happen to a nicer person, and you
Oh,
are
well,
very
thank
much
you.
deserving of that as well. And there is Shari is what you see is what you get, and she's so very sweet,
This
kind,
is very
and
true. Don't
you're
catch me on a bad
unpretentious.
day.
I know, unpretentious and very genuine, and she has this polish and charm that is just so beautiful. I love
Oh,
hanging
well,
out with
thank
you,
you.
and
Now you're gonna make me
uh,
blush.
you are lovely to hang around with. And I'll never forget, and I tell you this before, but I'll say it again. I'll never forget the one time I was watching. It was Jen World Tarot and Susan Lynn used to have a Thursday night show that we would crack
Hmm.
up. We would just laugh through the whole thing. It was the
Oh my
best
God,
medicine.
yes.
It was the I don't think anybody's ever uh, duplicated what they had together. And they decided to do a on-site location, sort of a retreat or I don't know, like a
They were
seminar or something.
going for Jen's birthday. They went to New Orleans for her birthday, and then they decided to turn it into a little mini retreat.
Okay.
So it was
Okay.
tax deductible. And I'm like, well, that's using your brain, you know?
Yeah. And and Shari said Shari was a regular on the channel, and as she is on a lot of people's channel, she's extremely supportive. And they Shari said, "Oh, you should stop by my house. I'm right on the way." And they actually did. They met
Yeah.
her and they stopped by her house. You invited them for lunch, but they wanted to stay close to the main road so that you met them.
Yeah. So we went not too far off the beaten path. One of the main roads, so it was easy for them to get to Chili's and back to the interstate. Is from New Orleans to Houston, I-10 runs right through the middle of my town. So it's like, yeah, you can't miss me. You just got to get off at one of the exits, you know. And
Hmm.
uh, and that was a great lunch. I was so tickled to meet both of them. They were both so sweet, and I was after lunch and we getting ready to leave, and Jen had gone on to the Susan's truck, and Susan and I were standing by my car talking, and she's looking at me kind of weird, and she says, you have a huge angel standing right behind you. And I'm looking around, I'm like, I don't see anything. She says, yeah, he's huge. His wings are open. He's like right behind you, like he's in protection mode or something, like I got your back. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Nobody's ever told me that before. And then a few minutes later, here comes Jen back across the parking lot to where we were. And she got about 10 steps from us and she stopped and she said, Shari, did you know you have an angel standing behind you?
Oh my
And I'm like, oh
God.
my God, you see it too? And she's like, yeah, he's right there. And Susan's like, with his wings open. She's like, yeah, exactly. I was like,
Wow.
that's so cool. I don't see them, but I do feel their presence when they're around. So, but
Hmm.
that was a lot of fun meeting them. And then
Hmm.
when I went to California a year ago, April, I got to meet Arthur from Arthur Ease Your Mind,
Hmm.
and I drove over to LA and spent the afternoon and evening with him. And I got to meet Sonia and EQ from the Soul Sisters,
Hmm.
and we
Hmm.
had lunch together. That was a lot of fun. And then going back home, we stopped in Tucson and met. Um, uh, now I'm going to go blank on her name. We used to do a show together regularly, and I can't think of her name right now. Uh, used to see just nothing but her arms with the skeleton gloves.
Oh, Juno.
Juno, thank you. I kept seeing a J, and the name wasn't coming. And I'm sorry, Juno. And so I got to meet Juno, and then when we went through Dallas, I got to meet Aiden from Aiden Reads Tarot, and I got to meet Marby, who's a regular on all of our channels in the chat. And because I laughed when I met Marby, I was like, God, you're the first person shorter than me I've ever met. So,
Are you 4'11 3/4 as well?
well,
They
I'm 5 feet and a quarter inch,
Oh, you're
according to
taller
the
than
last
me. They
according to
told
the
me I
last time
shrunk.
I was measured. But
Yeah,
um, the
yeah.
plus is
Last
I've
time.
lost 37 pounds since
Wow.
Thanksgiving. I don't know how, but I have. So it's my doctor's like, well,
Wow.
keep it up. I'm like, I'm working on it.
Wow.
I said, I don't understand because October to April is candy season for me. And that's all I eat is candy, from Halloween
Yeah.
candy to Christmas candy to Easter candy to, you just fill in the holiday in that time space. And I've got the candy for it. I'm a candy addict. That's one of my big issues is I crave sweets. And
It's a
So I
vicious
don't
circle because they are addictive. But well,
very
thank you
much
all
so.
for being here and thank you all for
Yeah,
coming. We are going to be doing some readings and let's go ahead and get started. So
yes,
everybody
let's do it.
who's filling in can jump in when they get here. Um, and we're just to remind you that we are doing readings for spirit guides, angels, um, ancestors, fairies, and please put questions in caps. So I see JK9, and I've been working on trying to get JK9 to formulate questions that are of the of the way of the caliber of a 5 minute mini reading, and just to ask a question. So she does say, do do my best friend for my lovely best friend Falgini. Did I don't and
Did
I think that you may be using a
I got a
uh,
fairies deck? Yeah,
I, I don't know if you're using like a language interpreter or a translating service, but it's a little
the
but
questions come out a little weird. Yeah,
is your best friend Falguni here in this world, or is she on the other side? Has she passed or is she still alive? This is, you know, um so I would just say a message from my best friend Falgini on the other side, just so that we know. And
well, and if it translates, depending on what language it's translating from, it can flip a sentence around backwards. I know with Cajun French, a lot of what you say in French, when you translate it directly into English, it's backwards. You're saying the sentence backwards almost. It's weird.
Mhm. So what we do here is we don't do like third party readings. What that means is we don't read what somebody else thinks, feels, or their energy without their permission. So especially here in a public forum. Now, if you were to book a private reading and you would want to know the dynamic between a relationship, that would be a little bit more appropriate and just personal for you. But here
Right.
in the public, we don't have their permission, so we can't do it. But so you don't talk to each other now, Falguni, and this person was your best friend. So she says, and
Can I
correct
know
me if I
just what
don't,
the fairies say? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so and there's a little bit of a learning curve to get to know like how questions are formed and how readings are appropriate in this forum. But I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. So JK9, do you have a card ready there, Shari?
I
Because I'm gonna.
do. I drew for her, let my camera focus here. Pure intention is the fairy that came across, and it says, the fairy of manifestation will help you to use your wishes wisely. Manifest your heart's desire with pure intention and for the highest good of all. So I think basically what they're saying in response to your earlier question is, if you're manifesting and putting out there your heart's desire to mend the relationship, to be able to start talking again, to kind of rebuild on that trust again, this is telling you, yeah, start with that pure intention and just manifest it. Start talking it out every day. Just talking about, uh, I really want my friend and I to fill in the blank, and then go from there. But if you come at it from a pure intention in your heart, it's a lot easier for spirit to manifest for
Mhm, mhm. So I like that pure intention came through. And so JK9, you are the best person to determine whether you did your best. You're the only one that knows that. I am not a mind reader. I cannot see in the past. I cannot see in the future. I read energies as they are in this present moment. So whether you did or you didn't, this is what you know. And if you have regrets, try. Everybody has regrets.
God, yes.
We've all done things and said things, or not said things and not done things that were not our shiniest moment, you know. And that's what friends are. We're there. The friends are there to help each other grow and to, you know, balance things out for us. And nobody's perfect, and it's not for us to condemn or to criticize ourselves, to paralyze ourselves. And with that pure intentions card that Shari had, I think that's really what's most important. What was your intention? What is your intention? What will be your intention? If you wish each other only the best, only the highest, only the most benevolent outcome, then this is where your heart needs to be. And it's important for
Yeah.
you to look at the things that maybe you had an argument or something and things didn't go well. Then look at that as a lesson or an opportunity to maybe say, next time when I have that opportunity, I'm going to think before I just mouth off, or whatever it is that it's not. It's you're putting too much emphasis on your you being perfect. There is no perfection, and it's important to give yourself a break, give yourself the benefit of the doubt, and understand that we're all learning in this game called life, and try
And
not
it's not,
to.
I'm sorry, Jean, go ahead.
No, that's okay.
Um, I was good. They just now told me, they said it's not all your fault. It's a two-way street. Um, so it reach out and then give her space to reach back. Um, that was the hit I got as Jean was talking.
Good.
Was
Thank you. That's wonderful. I love that. I love that when the hits come through, because when they do, that's what they want you to know. And you're not able to concentrate because you're so consumed and worried over it. This is your ego or your control, your need to control certain aspects,
yeah,
and allow yourself to forgive yourself and to accept things that they are the way they are. And it will, that negative rewinding and reviewing things, it's overthinking, and it's really important for you to let it go. And the moment you start thinking about it again, give it to your angels and say, angels, I have been through this a million times. I forgive her. I forgive myself. Please, give me something else to think about, and really start purposefully taking yourself away from that repeated thinking. Um, yeah, so Shari did pick a card for you. I don't know if you've seen my shows, but I rarely use any cards. Yeah. Yeah. And the pendulum, it's not a question for the pendulum. She's saying, does the pendulum say so? It's not a question for the pendulum. Only
yeah.
you know. Thank
Pendulums are
you, Naya.
more for very specific yes no answers.
Hmm.
You start delving into the gray areas and it'll just spin on you. At least that's what mine does. It doesn't give me a direct answer. So,
It's not just black and white. It's not cut and dry. It's not that something is something and I'm looking at it. It's an energy, it's an evolution, and it's a spiritual journey. And to be kind to yourself, and to you so if you don't know if you are overthinking, yeah, it would be overthinking. So just let it go. And
put that
you know
intention out there. Speak that manifestation. Put that intention out there. I want the relationship with my friend to be rekindled. Ask specifically to spirit, what should I do? And they may give you a passage in a book or a scene in a movie or a dream or just all kinds of things. It's just like their way of telling you, take this step. And then, like I said, reach out and then back off, give her space to reach back. Um,
yeah.
so
And
it's a two-way
th-
street. That's
Thank you very much for your question, JK9. That was really sweet of you.
Really good. Yeah.
And if you do need more information, it would probably be worth a private reading. And I do offer 15-minute readings that are very affordable. Um, so Bali Lolly World is here. Hi, Bali Lolly. And she says, hi,
Bobby Lolly.
I would like to have a reading from my spirit guides on love life. Excellent. And I love
Okay.
the caps, and she wanted a message from her spirit guides about her love life. All right. Thank you for the specific
Yeah,
question.
that helped big time.
Uh-huh.
I don't have any specific relationship cards, but I'm gonna pull from my Sisterhood of the Seers, and I just want to double check the meaning with this. This is a new deck. I'm still learning it.
So,
Um,
Bali, are you currently in a relationship and wondering about its validity, or are you currently single looking for a new love to come in? Bali Lolly. Because I'm feeling right
mm,
away. And if your name is called, just let us know that you're still here. She may not have been. Oh, nope, she's not here yet. Oh, wait.
oh, I think
No.
she changed channels, channel names.
Okay.
If somebody has more than two channels, they might come in on a different name than the question they left. I've
Okay.
had that happen to me. So,
And she's not in a relationship.
okay. Um, well, I pulled for you the card of it says a good partnership. If it'll
Oh,
focus there we go. And what it's talking about is um, having a soul connection, having an open heart, um, working to develop that good relationship. Because before you're going to be in a position to be in partnership with someone else, you've got to work on yourself first. If you don't love you, how is anybody else going to love you? Basically, because they're going to go by what they see and how you react and how you are. Um, so it talks about in here that when you step into a partnership, and it may start out as just a friendship thing or a work thing that develops into something on a more romantic or serious level. Just be willing when the right person kind of comes along to just take it at the pace that the relationship is growing and give it enough oxygen that it can morph into something more. Unfortunately, and I used to be very guilty of this myself, you get in a relationship and it's like you want to go from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds flat, and there's no in between time to build that relationship up. um, because if you're looking for like a soulmate type of a relationship, you want somebody that's going to be like your soulmate, someone you can talk to, someone that you can share interest with, someone that kind of gets where you're coming from and you get where they're coming from. Because otherwise, you're just two people working together, living together, whatever. But there's no growth happening because you're both on opposite ends of the spectrum instead of growing together and building together something. Um, that's how I think a good partnership, regardless of the kind of partnership it is. I think that's what really helps us be able to develop that into a more full, full-fledged relationship, regardless if it's platonic or romantic. But you got to
beautiful.
give it oxygen, give it room to breathe. You know.
I love that. And so, Noor, what I was getting for you is that there is somebody in your vicinity, and that you do have somebody who's loyal and respectful and is friendly and a companion, but you don't see them in the love interest because you know them so well. And I don't know if this is a neighbor or a brother's friend or a brother-in-law's brother or somebody who has eyes for you and that you haven't even considered. And it's and like Shari said, when you develop that relationship and allow it to be what it is, I do feel as though this friend is a loyal friend around you. I don't know if you've considered them um, to be romantic because they've always been a friend or always been around, maybe a longtime family friend. But I do feel like there is somebody in your vicinity that you don't feel this romantic attraction to right now, but they are loyal, they are friendly, you two do get along, and it can grow into a more unconditional love relationship. It's not bells and whistles, it's not, fireworks kind of um, attraction, but it comes from a friendship. So consider that, Nor.
Yeah, because the knight in shining armor doesn't really exist. That's our romanticized view of things. So, and it's amazing how many people one day wake up and realize that that knight has been right there next to them the whole way and knows their journey in their life, which helps develop that deeper relationship because you kind of know and understand each other on different levels. And that's important.
And it's important to have divine timing because we don't know what may change in the future. And she
Hmm.
said, do you see him as being married? Uh, I got a yes on that question. So I don't know in what capacity that brings you, but I did get a yes on that. But thank you very much for your question. Thank you for
Yeah.
being so specific and following up. I appreciate that. So I forgot to call out who was next. Eternal Phoenix, are you still here? And then Nancy Ramsey, are you still here? Eternal Phoenix or Nancy Ramsey, are either one of you still here? Hi, Blue Sky, Blue Eyes SF,
Both of them are here.
Edward Kenneth.
Oh, hey, Edward. Yeah, both of them are here.
Thank you. Uh, So, Eternal Phoenix says, can I please receive a reading? Anything that comes through from either any of the guides, angels. Okay, wow, you're making it easy for us.
That makes
Thank
our
you.
job so much easier when we're doing this.
We want you to have the choice, but it's so much easier when it comes, we just allow what comes through.
Yeah. My angel deck is buried in the bookcase. It'd take me too long to find it. So we're going to go with the fairies again. Um, the first card I drew was financial and material changes. So just be prepared for something that could be shifting in a maybe like a place to live. You're upgrading or you're downsizing or there's something happens and suddenly you come into a little bit of money, get a better job, you get a raise. All those things can cover financial and material um, uh, changes. Uh, if you're happy where you're at, you're in a comfortable place and you're not really looking to change any of that, then I would just simply tell spirit, if it's going to be for my best good that I change jobs or accept this or that, then be open to it. You'd be amazed what may show up and be knocking on your door. And then the other card I drew was a fairy card, and it's Tree Wisdom is the name of it. And it talks about uh, the tree dryad will help you navigate through your current situation. Her flute can reveal insights and answers through the sounds it makes. I love flutes. It's such pretty music. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that are just flute playing. Native American flute, Celtic flute, just different, all different variations. And sometimes just listening to that kind of music allows spirit a pathway to come in and talk to you, give you a picture in your head or a phrase, or showcase a face for you to work on. Um, but it feels like with the two of these together is to remember, whether if it's a flute or not. Some people don't like flute music, and that's okay. Um, but be open to hearing music a lot, because there's a lot of times we get messages through music, either through the lyrics or through the doorway that it opens with the other side. And just be prepared for some kind of financial change to come through. Um, I don't think it's a bad change. I really am feeling like this is a good change. It's going to be good for you. Um, you just have to be open to it when it comes across. That's what I got for you, darling.
Beautiful. And Eternal Phoenix says that is good advice.
Good. I'm glad it resonated with you. That's good for all
Wonderful.
of us.
Wonderful. She says, I feel it is good too. Yep. Hmm.
There you go.
So, Eternal Phoenix, what I was picking up for you is you may want to consider a new perspective. And it is a change, an opportunity to change and grow and step outside of your comfort zone. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. And when we're open minded and we're able to consider alternatives, it allows us to flow along our journey. You have come so far and you have done all the work, but you're not done. It's not done. We are, until the day that we leave this earth, that's when we're done our journey. So allow your story and your soul to evolve. It says release stories from the past. Um, Whether you know, overcame something, or that you used to work here and now you no longer do that. Allow evolution to occur within you. I see that there is something new coming through you to be who you are. Blend with your soul's vibration. And what Shari was saying about the music and the sound and the vibration, frequency, healing, all of this is definitely something that will help you to allow more of your authentic soul's vibration to come forth. And that was pretty intense and powerful. So I hope that was that made sense for you. But yeah, lots of energy there, Miss Eternal Phoenix, or just Eternal Phoenix. I appreciate your question.
Spirit had me get up and grab another deck. That's why I
Good.
disappeared from it.
That's okay.
Um,
I
they're like,
appreciate it. That's
you
fine.
forgot one. Okay. Y'all, they literally light up for me before a show or a private reading, and I'll go to the bookcase and be like, what cards do I need? And they will, like, somebody puts a neon light on them. It's like that particular deck will just kind of light up as I'm looking at them. Oh, this one. Oh, okay, this one. And sometimes it's one or two decks, and sometimes five or six. It just depends, I guess, on what's happening. I've learned not
I
to
love that.
ignore it.
You're so intuitive and allowing for that to occur. So I appreciate that, Shari. And Nancy Ramsey said she was here, right? And next
Mhm.
is Marie Celentine is next after Nancy. Good. Eternal Phoenix said that made sense. That's good.
Good,
You have
good,
to
good.
play it back. It was coded and a lot. So Nancy Ramsey, thank you for being here. She says, may I have a message from my spirit guides, please?
Oh, wow. Okay. The first card I pulled for you is your presence is requested, there with that dragonfly on it. And it's talking about to use your discernment with situations happening around you, to be aware of what's happening so that you're not blindsided by something that comes out of left field. Um, but when you get that gut feeling that this doesn't feel right, or you just get that kind of feeling to something, then back off and walk away. That's just spirit's way of letting you know this is not for you. You can get hurt if you go here, or so many different things. And but it's very much talking about trust your gut, trust your intuition. When it tells you to back off of something, back off and go the other direction, and then it'll lead you where you need to go. And then I pulled an angel card for you. That's what they had me go get. And I got Azrael, which stands for transcendence. And is it going to focus? There we go. All right. It says you wouldn't be who you are without what you have overcome. Own your story. Don't let anybody else tell you what your story is. You own it. It's your story, yours and no one else's. And just keep that keep the radar up so that you're not blindsided with stuff. And listen to your intuition. That's what I got for you.
Oh, she's been practicing discernment lately. Good for you. Good for you, Nancy. I love that. Beautiful reading, Shari. Thank you. And with with Nancy, as far as your spirit guides, I feel like you're a little bit in a holding pattern, and they want you to, or not what they suggest that you consider sort of going out instead of this focus of this is what I want to do. They're saying widen your horizons. Look at different ways that you can do that, or be that, or share that. And so you want to help people. You want to develop your spiritual gifts. That's this. But can you go to old folks' homes and take care of old folks, or can you volunteer and walk dogs, or can you are there different ways that you can share this aspect of yourself that where you see need in your community? Volunteer at a food shelter or something of that sort. It's not easy finding the volunteer jobs, but there is usually a community where they have like a retirement home, or even in the hospital. Sometimes they need extra people to help wheel people from floor to floor, wheelchairs. So you can check something like this. I feel like it's important for you to be of service. And I think it's important for you to be of service in different aspects, or, different ways, because you want to be this, but you can be this in many different ways. So they're just saying, expand your horizons and think of different ways that you can embody this instead of just one way. And this will help you to gather the information, the experience, the contact, and sort of the validation that you need when you do touch so many different souls. I think you're meant to touch souls in a personal, in a physical, one-on-one kind of way. I don't know. I don't know if there's a spiritualist church in your area. There's some sort of a group in your area that you might, or even in the library, you can ask the library if there are groups and different things that go on outings that maybe you can be a chaperone or an assistant, or something where there's a volunteer basis. And you're really smart and you're good with people, and it's important for you to have structure or something to, like if the hospital schedules you, you need to hold on, keep to that schedule, because you want to, but you're, I don't know what that's called. Your ability to keep that on a regular schedule or accountability. I think you need that accountability, at least a friend or somebody to say, I'm going to, do this every Saturday and volunteer for 2 hours. Have a friend do it with you so that you're accountable, so that you will do it. Because if not, you'll be like, oh, it's not important for me there to be there. You'll talk yourself out of it. And I think that you sort of do this from time to time, is you end up talking yourself out of things. But look around, and it's okay to try different things. But if you obligate yourself, show up. And I think that you'll find that things have changed more than you realize, and that you have more abilities, because the people around you are not at the same spot in their journey as you are. And when you're helping them, you can speak like I do to them and say, don't worry, things are going to turn out, or whatever you do say to them. And you're actually feeling that for yourself because it's coming through you. So when I say, don't worry, things will turn out for you, I hear my ears, Jean's ego ears. I'm hearing myself say that. It's the spirit guides coming through and saying that, but I also get the benefit of hearing it. And when you talk to these people and help these people and tell them, it reinforce your beliefs, it'll reinforce your
Mhm.
trust, it'll reinforce your journey. And I think that's a a suggestion to consider. And she says, thank you. I'm checking on different ways to be of service now. That's wonderful.
Check with your local churches and stuff, regardless of denomination. A lot of times, some churches, especially the Catholic Church, will offer food kitchens or uh, a pathway for, say, somebody that served time in prison, or who's just been has been dealing with the mental issues or whatnot, and they're trying to reintegrate themselves back into society. Um, so there's a lot of churches and stuff that offer those kind of little small workshops or just little meetings for people to kind of be there to mentor those that come in looking for help. You know, like a group therapy basically is what it's like, but it's usually just run by volunteers, not necessarily a professional, although some of them do have professionals that sit in. Um, and that's just one avenue. Like Jean was saying, you can sign up for food bank work or a soup kitchen where you're literally putting food on people's plates and feeding them to uh, geez, there's just so many different things that you can do, but you just have to make an effort to look around. Contact if you have a local radio station in your city, contact your local radio station and or TV station and ask them if they have a list of organizations where you live that provide service for those in need. You'd be
Just reading
amazed.
mental health nurse.
A mental
Excellent.
health see, so that's you've already got a leg up on a lot of people that would volunteer, somewhere like that, where you get a lot of street people that come in for a hot meal, but they're also in dire need of a little bit of mental health reach out, a little
Hmm.
bit of counseling to just, if nothing else, just sit and listen to them talk so that they
Hmm.
feel heard. That can be one of the most important things is just, do you feel heard? And that can make a big difference for a lot of people as far as as far as being able to kind of focus in on what direction they want to go in, or to help them make the changes they need to make to no longer be a homeless person, help them, there are organizations out there that help people in need find what agency they need to contact for assistance. Because a lot of people, if suddenly you lose your job, you lose your home, someone gets really bad sick and the insurance either doesn't exist or doesn't cover it, so many different things. But there's usually a couple of like centralized nonprofits usually that are there to help point you or help point the person in need in the right direction of where to
Hmm.
go for help. Um, and they're always looking for volunteers or or part-time staff or something, just people that are showing up to be there for whoever is in need so that you can help them meet that need. Sometimes just giving somebody a name and a couple of phone numbers. It's like, start here. If they can't help, come back and see me. We'll look up some more. And that can make a big difference, because
Hmm.
the way
So
things are going right now, a lot of federal government programs are getting cut and slashed. And so we have to take that into consideration and then start focusing locally. What are local groups that I can volunteer with? What are local groups that I can recommend to others in need of who they might be able to get help from, depending on what help it is that they need, from housing to food to education. There's a lot of different groups like that.
yeah, and Nancy, just as a last, if we didn't give you enough suggestions, the what came to mind is young mothers with special needs,
Oh
children.
yeah.
They don't get a break. They don't have an hour to themselves. So if you can, give them an hour so that they can run out without the kids. There's also something
Abused
called.
women's shelter, women's shelter that from domestic violence. They usually need volunteers, if nothing else, just to sit and watch the kids so they can go on a job interview.
And there's also something for it's care.com. I just popped it up in there. And they do anything from childcare, senior care, adult care. Let me just put
Yeah.
this up there for everybody because Nancy, you asked the question, but there's other people who need this information. That's why we keep going on and on. And I know
Yeah.
that you have more than enough suggestions here, but I just want to increase this a little bit and let you see child care, senior care, adult care, housekeeping, pet care, tutoring. And it's just care.com. And you put your zip code in to find. And I know family members who have hired people from this, or I don't know if they do volunteer base, but you can do, oh, this is for finding people and this is for finding jobs. Look at that. And I don't know if you want a job or if you want to volunteer, but something like this, and even they may be able to help you. Join 29 million families who've turned to care.com. And it really does work. If you can't find any other resource, is what I'm saying. But that is a good question, good answer. It
Nothing
popped in
else,
my
Google it.
mind. Hmm. It popped in my mind, and Shari was going along. It was really important for everybody to learn about, Nancy. But thank you for asking your question because it
It was
really,
a
I
great
think,
question.
yeah, there's a lot of people that need that information. I didn't see Mary Celestine. Is
Mm-mm.
Mary
I haven't
Celestine
I haven't
still
seen her
here?
pop in.
Is Carrie G7494 still here? Hi, Ginny. This is Ginny. I recognized your icon. It says just me today and every day. And this is Ginny. And I had a show with Ginny earlier today, and it was absolutely fabulous. I enjoyed myself. So thank you for being here, Miss Ginny. Um, thanks for stopping
For
by.
sure.
And see, Sherry, you're still Voices from the Swamp.
Mm-hmm.
See? And Nancy's like, volunteer jobs for now. I'm retired and still want to be of service. Yeah.
Yeah. Hit up your local churches. Just see what kind of programs they have running. A lot of times they'll have secular programs if you don't want to get involved on a religious aspect of things. Um, check with your local city manager where you live. See if they have any programs that you can volunteer at. Check with local women's shelter, for domestic violence and stuff. They're always needing volunteers and people to help. Um, if nothing else, like I said, just to watch the kids so they can go on a job interview because, in that situation, a lot of people leave with nothing but the clothes on their back. So, and they're not prepared to enter the workforce. They've usually have been kept isolated from others. So, um,
I think that
Uh,
you'll get the feedback and you'll learn a lot more about yourself. You'll get that validation back and
yeah.
you'll have that appreciation and that connection with people that you're missing. I think
Animal
that'll be
shelters, going in and bathing the animals that get brought in and dropped off, and they're usually filthy, dirty, and full of fleas. Just to have a handful of people that are willing to come in and shampoo dogs and cats or go for walks with them or whatever to help the transition from being in a home or being on the streets to being in a shelter can be very traumatizing for an animal. Um, and they don't really handle it very well. So that's another area, that you could volunteer at, your local ASPCA or, um, yeah.
hmm we need 1 million of you, Nancy.
Yes, we do.
So Carrie is here. Thank you for saying that you're here. We're glad that you're still here. And they
Card
say,
for July.
can I have a card for July, please? They want to know what is in their highest good that to know about what's happening in July.
Good question. So much harder
So
to shuffle new decks.
Carrie, I feel like you'll be sort of like taking the lead position or the embodying the stability for people around you that may be breaking down or having a more difficult um, adjustment period. You'll be the one who is the strong, steady, and confident one, that you'll be able to hold down the energies that may be, people may be acting up or behaving erratically or emotionally, and you'll be able to hold the steadiness and um, the energy for them, almost like
Yeah.
holding space for them. So I don't know if there's people in your or family around you or individuals or even the job. I don't know. But you'll be able to hold and you'll be surprised at how steady and how calm you are because you have this inner knowing. You have this inner peace. You have this inner connection to all that is. And that you will have the you'll have the perspective to see beyond what the drama is happening in front of us. And like I don't know, let's just say there's an earthquake or something, and everybody's affected. You'll be so calm, so cool, so clear minded throughout this chaos, even though it's happening around you, and that you'll know what to do, you'll know what to say, and you'll have this knowing that on the other side we'll all have um we'll all get through it. And I just feel like you'll be really surprised with yourself. How about you, Sherry? What did you get?
Well, I started out with my what's it called? Psychic tarot deck, which I just got. I like this little deck. The first thing I got was foundations and achievements. So that's talking about make sure your foundation is strong because things may get rocky in July for a lot of people. And like Jean was saying, you're going to be calm, cool, and collected, able to deal with whatever's coming down the road. But if your foundation isn't strong, it's real easy to fall through the cracks or just not handle it well. So make sure your foundations are strong, that you put some emphasis on that so that you remain calm, cool, and collected. And then I pulled patience and planning. So again, that's another one. Um, as you're setting that foundation, make sure that you're planning out what to do if this happens, that happens, the other happens. Kind of, you know, prepare for the worst and pray for the best. It is basically that very thing. And to have patience in the process of doing it. It's not all going to happen by 2 o'clock tomorrow. It's going to take a little time. We're talking strictly for July. So July could be your foundation and patience building month to deal with what's coming maybe closer to the end of the year. That's also a possibility. And then I pulled an angel card for you, and you got Shamuel, um, which is talking about relationship assignments. It says, no one crosses your path by chance. Choose to see the deeper reasons for the people in your life. That's where these two cards come in. You're preparing for those around you and what's going to happen with them. But to do that, you've got to shore up your foundation and get some strategic planning in your head of how to deal with certain things, whether it be an earthquake, a hurricane, a war, whatever is coming at us, you're kind of prepared for it. And it's less stress for you, and it helps those out around you because now they feel safer and more secure knowing that there's somebody right there with them who's kind of got it all together in the middle of the chaos. So very important.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So beautiful. Thank you very much. And I noticed that Carrie has the fours in their name, and I saw that first card of stability reinforced in those fours. And
Yep.
yeah,
I didn't
I
even pick up on the 4.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
See, that's why I
And
like reading with Jean is she picks up on the little things I miss. So
you got it covered. It's just there's different things as things are being said that pop up. But I do understand that there is a lot of changes astrologically, and perhaps you may want to consider that, Carrie. And it's it's really unknown, and to try and be comfortable and to be in balance with the unknown, because in
mhm.
the unknown is where all of the magic happens, all of the miracles occur, and all of the guidance from our spirit guides. There's so much more than what we could ever uh, understand or conceptualize or dream of that is going to be coming for us. So you know keep try and stay as optimistic as you can. And I say this, with the last show, I said this. Oh, geez, I've been through a Hurricane Ian, and I can get through whatever is sent my way. Wow.
I'm right there with you. I've been through 3 Cat 5s in my life. You go through that, the rest of the world is like a piece of cake.
Wow. Good for you. Thanks for coming, and thank you for your question. And look who's here. Marie came back.
Hi,
Hi,
Marie.
Marie.
She came back. Yay.
I'm glad you came back. And this is going to be the last question of the day, just so everybody knows. And it's a little bit of a two-part question, Marie. So it says, what will happen with me and Philip? Will we break up, or will he move away? And then she also says, I'm also wondering, how many kids do you see me having? So they're two different questions, but I think that the kid question I can answer. But will it is Philip going to move and separate from Marie? It's saying no. It's saying no. I didn't expect that. I thought it was going to say yes. He says he's not going to move and separate from you. Is Philip going to move residence but stay with Marie? It looks like he's going to move but stay with you. Is Are Philip and Marie going to have kids? He's not your baby's daddy, just so you know. He's Mr. Right now, maybe not Mr. Right. Will Marie have children of her own someday? And that is a definite yes. Look at that. Yes, 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 yes. Will Marie have her own children in the next 5 years? Ooh, maybe a little bit later. Will Marie have her own child in 6 years? It looks like it's going to be 5 years out, because you and Philip have some past life things to go through. And I do feel as though he's good in the learning experience and the development and the learning more about yourself. And but I do also feel that um, there's going to be somebody else after Philip. That's all. And no offense to Philip, because I feel like he loves you. Philip does love you, but there's going to be somebody else after Philip, and it's okay. People grow apart, and we meet people in our lives to teach us certain lessons, and then when that breaks up, we meet somebody else. So just consider that. And this is take it with a grain of salt. It's all for entertainment purposes only. How about you, Miss Sherry?
And to build off of what Jean was just saying, he may be important in helping you build your personal self up so that when Mr. Right forever shows up, you're ready and you're better able to go into that depth of a relationship. Um, because I drew the Seer of Destiny was the card I drew, which is fortune, right timing, and synchronicity. And it talks about good fortune, a lucky breakup. So that can kind of be several different options there. Destiny, right timing, synchronicity. I'm kind of picking up on what Gina's saying. You know, he's Mr. Right now, but he may not be Mr. Right forever. But he's going to be quintessential in helping you develop to that point that when Mr. Right shows up, you're ready for him and you're ready for that life is going to bring you. Um, and the message in it is get ready. Your life is about to move in wonderful and mysterious ways. So, that, again, that's building and growing within that relationship to help lead you to where you need to be. And then I pulled hope, and I can uncover the word there. So that's telling me be hopeful in what it is you want and what it is that you're aiming for. Um, Having children, they're saying, well, of course. That's the exact phrase they gave me. Well, of course. That's how they said it to me. Um, when I was saying, will she have children? Well, of course. It's like it's a given. Why are you even questioning that? So just know that that too is coming. Now, does that mean you're going to give birth? Maybe, maybe not. There's a lot of kids out there that need a good, loving home. You might wind up going in that direction. You might wind up having children of your own that you actually give birth to. You might wind up doing both. It's just going to depend on what is happening in your future as you prepare for Mr. Right forever and what steps y'all are going to take. Um, I mean, he may come already loaded with kids. And so you're an instant mom right from the beginning, And
Loaded.
then that's the only word I can think of. He may be coming loaded with kids, hanging on his coattails, saying it's kind of all of us or none of us. So it's um, and that can make it difficult on a relationship just starting out, or just building, as if there are children from a previous relationship. Some people have a hard time dealing with that. Most people are like, okay, they're my kids too now, and that's just the way they look at it. So it like Jean was saying, you have to work through the steps of where you need to go, but be willing to step back when spirit starts telling you, okay, Mr. Right is around the corner, so it's time for you to clear your dance card and get ready.
I was just about to say that, Sherry. You're saying what I'm thinking. And this is when I said that Philip is good for you right now so that you can learn these lessons on how to take care of yourself, how to respect yourself, and where to draw boundaries. And if you think he manipulates you and you think that he looks at other women and that he flirts with
Then
other
he
women,
is.
and
Yeah.
it's he can do whatever he wants, but are you going to want to be in that type of relationship. This
Right.
is your choice, not his choice. He's not going to change. It's up to
Some
you.
people, that's not a deal breaker for them. They have no problem if, if they're swingers together or separate or whatever. I mean, I've met people on all ends of that spectrum. It wasn't my thing. If my husband would have been fooling around, he'd have been missing his protruding body parts by the time I finished. That would have been a big no from mommy son here. But eh, different people have different boundaries of what's allowed in and out of a relationship. They didn't tell me how many. All they told me was when I said, "Is she going to have kids?" And the answer was, "Well, of course she is." It was just that blunt. Just, well, of course, like it's a given. So, does that mean you're going to give birth to children or adopt children or have children come in with another relationship when you do find Mr. Right? They're not saying, because I think they want that avenue left open for what may happen. Otherwise, you may shut the door to someone who is Mr. Right because they're not carting in what we see in this time frame. Because you still have free will. People change their minds. People change all the way. Some of them don't. If someone who's going to be, I'll be blunt. In my book, that would be being disloyal. That would be a deal breaker for me. Somebody, looking and perusing other women. It's one thing if you turn your head because you walk down the street and you see a good looking guy or a really pretty woman. That's natural instinct. We all do it. But when you specifically set out to do that in a way, in my mind, this is Shari speaking now, that is breaking a boundary in that relationship. So
But it's not their behavior, it's your tolerance. It's your parameters.
exactly. That's
It's
what I mean.
it's
You've got to set your
if it
boundaries. What are you
if it
willing to accept?
is it make you feel good? Or do you feel respected? Is it, and why would you still be in a relationship that does that? And so that's what you need to ask yourself. And you need to ask yourself, what is it that I want for my highest good? And if it's to separate from this person who has that type of behavior that you don't want in your life, then it's important for you to take action and be brave enough to separate and to end that relationship so that you can have an open and free energy so that when Mr. Right does come along, I did see somebody new, that you'll be ready and not in a relationship, because men can
Yeah.
tell when women are in relationships or not. And um
I'm reading her chat here, and I understand the devastation. I was engaged 3 times before I met my late husband, and we got married. I get that. And it's really hard when that breakup hits because you're focusing in on this is my forever person, and they're not. They're there to help you find your boundaries of what you accept in a relationship, and they're there to help you grow from that kind of boundary breaking behavior, if you get what I'm saying. And yeah, I mean, I've 9 years is a long time to invest with someone who is just very strongly coming across to me as someone who is not invested in this relationship.
if it's not what you want, Marie, it doesn't matter if it was 9 days or 9 years.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
And it's your lesson to learn to put yourself respect yourself enough to
yeah,
put what you want first, and not to disrespect yourself in continuing that type of relationship. It's really, I we can't sit
but
here and what to do or what not to do, but you know
yeah,
in your heart what's right. You know in your heart what makes you feel good. You know in your heart what you don't like. So it's up to you
yeah,
when and if you decide ever to continue that that
And
energy
if you're
around
not
you.
sure what kind of a relationship that can lead to in a permanent long term, go visit a couple of abuse shelters and just talk to some of the women there, what they tolerated for however long before they finally stepped up and said, no, I can't deal with this anymore. And they leave. Um,
I think that you're awakening, Marie. You have an
yeah,
awareness. You can see things differently, and you know that this is not what you want. And I think that in our
yeah.
society, things are being revealed,
That's,
and mhm,
go ahead, Gene. I'm sorry.
just that things are being revealed, and we can feel this energy affect our personal lives as well as our the global life.
Right. I hear you, Marie. I just want kids and a family and an honest and loyal husband. That's what you have to manifest.
You're going
That's
to
what
get
you
it
have to
too.
talk to spirit.
Mhm.
Not, I wish someday, just be, I am so thankful that you have put into my life the right person to have a family, to grow old with, whatever else is in that desire framework that you're trying to build. The person you're with is not fulfilling those desires or that manifestation. And that's okay if that's your dream. It's a good dream to have. Most people do dream to have a family and a loving and loyal spouse. And um, very few people actually attain that nowadays because everybody's in such a big hurry, and or they're not willing to invest wholeheartedly into that relationship. And I just keep getting really strong impressions that he's just not invested. And so it's time to start working on yourself so that when the right one comes along, you know it, you see it, and you jump. You don't waste any time, you know?
Thank you very much, Sherry, and thank you, Marie, for being
Yes.
here. And
Keep us posted.
what I wanted to let you know is tomorrow morning I'll be on with Ginger from Ginger Fay Tarot, and
Oh,
then
that's a great show.
at 12 noon, and then at 2:30 I'll be on with Valerie from Illumination Portal, and that's at 2:30 on Sunday afternoon. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody back. And Sherry, where will you
Absolutely.
be next?
I've got the slumber party tonight, 10 o'clock Central. That's PM. Yes. It's called the Night Owl Slumber Party, and it's an anything goes show. You can ask any kind of question, personal, political, world event, whatever, mediumship. Most of your answers are going to be a one or two card throw, and there's a real good chance it's going to be a naughty card that gets thrown. So, if you have a problem with bad language, then it may not be the show for you. But I do run a content warning at the beginning of that show every week saying explicit language will be used. If you don't like it, don't watch. So just so you know what you're getting into. And I usually tell people when I do shows earlier during the week, if we're not able to get to everyone's question, if you're awake and you're up and you want to come join us Saturday night, come join and just put a little note when you put your question up. Say, hey, you weren't able to get to me earlier today or yesterday or whatever the case may be, and I'll try to get you answered first. Just so everybody has a chance to get an answer to their question. Um, because I mean, we're doing this for free for y'all. A lot of what we do and we read would normally, back before the amazing internet, people had to pay a service to and go hunt you down, and or you had to show up at psychic fairs or stuff, to and again, you had to pay for the service. I know Gene and I both do private readings, that it's a paid, you schedule it, you pay for it, and you get that undevoted time. And so when you have the time for the little mini readings, take advantage of it. And if you have more questions or if you want a more in-depth reading, then contact one of us. There's so many excellent readers in this community. I can't even begin to name them all. And just find somebody that resonates with you and contact them and set it up and go in and get a private reading done. You'd be amazed how much deeper we can go when we have the time to focus on it, and we're not dealing with everyone else. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox.
It's not just a 5 minute
Yeah,
overview. Yeah.
exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Shari, for coming on and
Thank you, ma'am. I love reading with you. So.
and sharing time and space with me. And you're just a delight to hang around. And you're so very popular. And I love hanging out with you. So that will be it. We'll see you all again tomorrow, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. Please do.
And we'll be back together in a month. So.
Yep. Check out Shari's evening show today, and it'll be lots of fun. So thank you again, Shari. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you enjoy this content, hit like, share, and subscribe. Remember to click the bell to be notified of future videos. Thanks again. Bye.